Have you ever received one of those dreaded city violation notices? Yeah, we did too. The notice said that we had to mow all areas of our yard, so my first thought was, oh good, they're coming after my native plant area. So getting ready for a fight, I called the inspector and asked her to come meet me at my house, which, if you ever get a city violation notice, always have them come and talk to you in person. That way you can actually discuss strategies and kind of figure out what to do collaboratively. And that always helps to avoid future citations. But she came out, and before we started, I just pointed at my native plant area and said, hey, I just want to be clear, you're not talking about this area, right? She looked at me and she said, oh no, this area is clearly cultivated and we haven't received any complaints about it. I just need you to mow your lawn. Here's the thing, most cities at this point actually respect native gardens, as long as they look intentional. A tidy garden helps make your neighbors happy, it avoids city citations, and it still supports your local community and your environment and your pollinators. In this video, I'm going to share 3 simple strategies on how to create a clean, tidy garden. And those are to have clean edges, to keep your shorter plants towards your front and the path, and finally to mulch smartly for a clear, finished look. Let's make your garden beautiful and city-friendly. Now, the first and arguably most important tip is to have edges around your entire garden. There's a lot of different edges that you can use, some very expensive, some very inexpensive. But the most important part is to have an edge. That way you can clearly show that this is an intentional area. You haven't just let the weeds go, but you have actually created a garden. Now, some examples of edges are just a natural edge where you just cut a groove. That can be a very simple, very nice looking edge. There's also metal edges or paving edges. You can do concrete, you can do wood, you can do rocks. You can use the sidewalks and the driveway and kind of things like that as your edge. But the important thing is to have a clear, defined, set aside area. That way, any sort of wildness or nativeness or kind of anything like that, it's bound and it feels contained and intentional. You haven't just let things go. The next tip is to keep your plants short, especially around your edges, your paths, and your sidewalks. The reason for that is that as plants get kind of taller and you have storms and winds, and sometimes they just get a little too tall for their own good, or they start flopping, they start falling onto the path. By keeping your plant shorter, and by short I mean like 12 inches and less, you're able to limit that amount of flopping, which then limits the kind of wild feeling and kind of feeling like plants are then escaping the bounds that you've put in so cleanly and so intentionally. Another thing with planting, it's best to kind of limit your plant palette, at least around the paths and kind of those city areas, because it looks more intentional to have a few plants planted in large groups than to just have a wild scattering of plants. It feels something that's really thought out and designed. You can still have your kind of wild areas, but you want to limit those to more private spaces like your backyard or really kind of deep into your yard away from the sidewalks, from kind of the city areas. The final tip is to mulch your garden when you're done. Like it or not, mulch is a signal in suburbia that this area is intentional, it is designed, and it's meant to be here. There are the added benefits that it will help reduce watering and it'll protect your soil. But most importantly, you're communicating, I am doing this with a purpose and I am intentionally trying to make this look nice, to make this beautiful, and to support my neighbors and my city. As a quick bonus tip, it's always good to clean up your native garden. You can do that in the spring, you can do it in the fall. Spring is better for pollinators because that way there are seeds, berries, all that stuff over the winter for overwintering kind of birds and animals. But if you really need a clean, tidy look, you're in an HOA and you've got that one neighbor who's going to call as soon as it looks messy, do it in the fall. Clean up before the winter comes. It can look very nice, very clean. And there you have it. There's your 3 strategies to keep a beautiful, tidy native garden. Have your clean edges, keep your short plants towards the edges, and make sure to mulch so that you can show that this is intentional. Remember, you can make a native plant look as beautiful as any ornamental bed. It all depends on the design. So if you like this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe. In addition, on my website, I have a free guide that goes more in depth on different design tips and strategies on how to create a beautiful space for yourself, for your family, and for your schedule, most importantly. But with that, I'm going to leave you with one final question. Which of these strategies will make the biggest difference in your garden? Please leave your response in the comments below.